I'd like to welcome Judge Regina Mincey of Fulton County State Court and her son, Antonio McMillan Jr.
Yes.
Welcome to Fulton Law and Justice.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having
Thank
us.
you for having us.
It's our pleasure. When I first heard about your book, I was so excited because it's such a unique concept and it was something I could visualize.
Yeah.
But before we talk about the book, tell us about yourselves. Well, Judge, will you tell us what your role is in Fulton County?
My role in Fulton County, I'm a pro-hack judge where I sit by designation for the other state court judges. I have had that position since 2020, sworn in during COVID by Judge Pinky Toomer. Actually, I think the day before she retired. So we got in there, and there were two of us. There were already two. So now there's a total of four pro-hack judges in state court, which was new by legislation. And Superior Court has a lot of them, but state court just had not had them. So it's a sort of a newly created judgeship back then. So now it's been 5 years. I'm also in private practice. I have a family law practice in Fulton County, and I am a part-time paralegal instructor, and I'm also a part-time real estate agent. So I wear many, many hats, but they all encompass the legal field, and being a judge is one of the most rewarding ones because you do get to show that you can help people in the system and not necessarily always be, a product of the system.
Yeah.
Excellent. Antonio, I understand that you are an actor and you also wear many hats. You can tell us
Yes,
about yourself.
I get that from my mom. So yes, I follow my passions in acting. I've been doing that for a few years now. I actually started out as a child. My mom got me into that with print modeling and different stuff like that. So I kind of brought that back to life kind of during the pandemic as well. So that was a cool thing to go down that journey, as well as now we can say we are co-authors of this book. I also have my own nonprofit where I help mentor young kids in the community. So getting that started and trying to find the kids, there's always kids there, but trying to get grants and just different things so I can go into the school system, as well as I serve in my church in multiple capacities. And by day, I'm an operations manager at the airport. So that's kind of like my Superman job. And then I break off everything and get my cape on and do everything else by night. So,
Right.
So with all of that
right.
you're doing, you still found time to write a book.
Yes, we
Mhm.
found time to write a book.
Show us the cover and
Yes.
tell us what the book is about.
Yes, so this is our book. It's called The Adventures of Mommy and Me and the Beautiful World We See. The first part to this series is Take Your Child to Work Day. As you guys can recognize, this is the Fulton County Courthouse steps that I have climbed up many, many times from young to old.
Yes.
So it's just so exciting to know that we can kind of coin our experiences in a book. I always knew that I wanted to be a book writer. I still have other things, in mind for adult books and different things, but I was saying, what really matters the most, or what does the world need to see first? And I love my mom, and I felt like this is a good way to give her flowers at the same time, but also inspire these young readers because the literacy rate is at an all-time low, especially in our Black and Brown communities. So I was like, I think this one should take precedence over the other ones. And so here we are, and we sat down, and she was honored, and I was telling her I could write really 100, but let's sit down and do this together and really put our journey into a book form. I say I like to give her flowers in the form of a book. And so here's our child that we birthed this vision out into the world. So yeah.
And this is the first series
Yes.
of 10.
Mhm.
So Antonio and I have a little more work to do.
Yes, we do.
We're going to talk about our other journeys.
Mhm.
And this journey started right around the time that I was divorced and a single mom
Mhm.
at that time. I've been remarried for about 17 years. But during those early years when he was in elementary school
Mhm.
and, and most of middle school, I was a single parent. And I was a new prosecutor in at the Fulton County DA's office and just trying to, navigate being single. and also raising a young man and wanting him to have a positive impact, but also know that if he did not make right decisions, here's where you're going to end up. So it was somewhat of a mirror image and trying to, get that over because, kids sometimes make difficult decisions or the wrong decisions that end up having severe consequences. So I was also trying to be mom and dad and make sure that he was on the right path. So I started bringing him to work with me on the weekends when we would work over. And then when it was time for Bring Your Child to Work Day, I brought him. So we have other adventures we went on that we will also have in the next book series talking about divorce and change, talking about going to grandma's in the summer in Kentucky. We took an Amtrak from Atlanta to DC and then to New York. So we had adventures, and again, I was not really cataloging these adventures like he was. Of course, I was always taking pictures,
Yep.
had my camcorder,
We still have
which
it.
I still
It's
have.
still in the closet.
So I was kind of just, making memories of it. But he said, I think we should write about our journeys and our memories that we have as mom and son. You see a lot of books written with mothers and daughters.
Yeah.
Not that many with mothers and sons.
And fathers and daughters,
And
but
fathers and
not as much
daughters,
as mothers and sons.
mothers and sons. So we want to have that impact, and like he said, also get kids back to reading books again. Putting down the tablet for a moment, reserving their screen time, putting down the cell phone, and picking up an old-fashioned book, or going to the library and checking out a book, which is what I made him do a couple of summers, just to make sure that he was on track with reading. So
And we were intentional about this. This book is only found in the actual physical book. We do not have an ebook or anything like that. We're very intentional about that. You actually got to pick up a copy, whether it's the softback or the hardcover. You got to get it physically, and we did that on purpose to get kids to actually pick up a book and hear the spine crack, smell the pages, like actually touch it. Your tablet won't die, so you can't read it. No, this is actually physical book that is here for you to hold and read and hopefully jump into the journey with us.
Yes.
Well, the illustrations are beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
They really are. They really are. And the little boy, he looks like you.
Yeah, that's
a pretty good job. Yeah, pretty good job. I told her next time I want my part on the other side.
She's already started her hair journey in the book, so we're definitely going to incorporate that.
Right, exactly.
So talk to us a little bit about how your role in Fulton County, how you exposed him to what was going on, because I mean, you had a very, very heavy job.
Yeah.
And so he was there at a young age, being able to see these things. I worked on Beyond Scared Straight. And so that's kind of the extreme.
Exactly.
So but there were still some very serious topics that he must have been exposed to. What struck you about that time?
I believe that again, and it's probably still true today. The Black male is always revered and feared by people, not always portrayed in a positive manner. And I wanted him to also meet, and I still talk to a lot of them today, and they ask me how's little AJ doing, because I wanted him to see strong Black men who were prosecutors as well, my coworkers, my investigators. Of course, he met the DA at that time, which was Paul Howard, and just to see strong Black men making a difference in the world. And that's probably where he gets some of the journey and wanting to run this nonprofit and impact other children, is from seeing that. And to hopefully again sprinkle a little bit of please don't hang around with the wrong crowd or make wrong decisions, but really to see people making a difference in the world. And we weren't just locking everyone up and putting everyone in jail. We were also volunteering. At that time, I did Legal Lives, went into his elementary school, as a matter of fact, Stonewall Tail Elementary in South Fulton. And, they put on a court case, brought them down to the courthouse, into the courtroom. And so that kind of exposure for him
Yeah, the junior
was
DA
good.
program.
Oh, and he did the junior DA program.
Yeah,
I
summer.
forgot he did that one summer as well. So he's had a positive influence from the courthouse, unlike some children do not have a positive experience at the courthouse. So I want him to not be afraid of the system, but also understand
Yeah.
and admire those who were, doing good things in the community and trying to help others. So it was a heavy burden. And like I say, sometimes I brought him because I had to come to work. So why not pack up your bag and your book bag and bring your homework? And he got to meet, a lot of my coworkers. So it was a real good experience for him.
Well, I mean, it just sounds like such a wonderful opportunity to
Yes.
have that exposure. And the book to me makes it seem like we are there, that we're experiencing that. And
Yes.
Antonio, I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
what stands out to you the most? What is tell us about one of the most important lessons that you picked up along the way.
I think one of the lessons that the one of the most important things, like she said, with the exposure, it showed me, I saw African American women and men like doing great things. I thought that I wanted to be a lawyer at one point because of my mom, but I feel
Mhm.
like she's given me some great attributes and, just my writing as well as how I speak and show up in the world professionally and just who I am as a person. But it also showed me different avenues saying that there's consequences for everything that you do. So if you do the wrong things, you have to pay those consequences. But also it showed of people getting a second chance at life or a new lease on life. And I just got to see so many different things. Just seeing my mom like in the courtroom, there's times where I could sit in and watch her or just see her like on the phone. She's like typing and she's talking. It was just cool. I just like just being in the room. I could visualize almost every office that she's had. And it just to me, I think the exposure is just showing me so many great things. It's like I didn't have a choice to be not great if I didn't want to, but it was just seeing that it really inspired me and just showed me like, wow, my mom is not just the provider, but she is actually making a difference and an impact in the community. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've taken away from that. No matter what I do, where I end up, always be a good person, a kind person, be willing to help people and just change lives one story at a time. So I think that's what I really took from my mom. And I guess I took that and ran with it, with my nonprofit and just being a leader and serving in my church and just doing different things. I'm kind of doing my own thing in another light, but it still reflects what my mom kind of instilled in me. So she has put those strict values and morals in times when I'm like, whew, I go to college and yeah, I went to a HBCU and predominantly we're all, African Americans, but we still had diverse backgrounds of how we were raised. We were not all raised the same. And, that it showed. And I was like, wow, my mom would never let me, like, who raised them? I was able to see that difference there. So I appreciate her for some of those tough, hard lessons. She would usually scare me with Beyond Scared Straight or say that we would go down to the courthouse. I know everybody. I know the man that can open it right on up and put you right in there. So, it's little moments like that I remember. But I know that she was making sacrifices and putting things in me. Maybe I couldn't see right then, but she could see, parents have that wisdom. They can see further down the road. I'm just seeing right now, I just want to play a video game and I want some ice cream. And she's, like, no, we can't do that all the time. We have to have structure. And so she taught me some great things. She did pretty good. She did pretty
Well,
good.
what a way to have to be honored.
Yeah.
This book, I don't know if we said this or not, came out on Mother's Day
Yes, it is. 2024.
that weekend.
Mhm.
So that was his gift to me.
Mhm.
And I try not to tear up because it was so sentimental.
Mhm.
To have your child come back to you as an adult, a young adult, and say, "Mom, you did a good job, and I'm going to honor you by writing a book about it,
Yeah.
writing a song about it."
Mhm.
So it was, just really something. And I was wondering if we were going to make that deadline to the
Yeah.
publisher to get it printed and
Mhm.
do all the trademarks and the copyrights that we needed for the book and to, get it registered. So they were able to meet those deadlines. And, I'm proud of him for doing it
Mhm.
and beyond being honored, with such a Mother's Day gift.
Mhm.
Well, where can we find the book?
Yes. So our book, the biggest place that we would love for people to go to is our website is www.adventuresofmommyandme.net. So www.adventuresofmommyandme.net. So on the website, but also too is on barnesandnoble.com as well as amazon.com and walmart.com, and some other online book sites have picked it up as
Mhm.
well, but Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Walmart being like the major three, but we're going to always push directly from us as well. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it on the bookshelves because you told me it's in
Yes.
one of the Barnes and Nobles.
Yes, that is a recent
Whatever.
thing. Yeah, it's in
So,
Barnes and Nobles in West Cobb in the avenues. We have a few copies in there. So being that we're on Barnes and Noble online, they can allocate some in person. If the author chooses to. So we did
Mhm.
that after we did a
Mhm.
reading there. So we hope to check in on there. We might have to come and put some more
Some more
copies in there.
copies.
We will be back there probably soon. We'll
Mhm.
schedule where they do want us to come on a Saturday. When they have a meet the author, you put your table out near the front door and kind of do it like that. So we'll probably be back there soon. So we want more of that too, to get it on the shelves in some Fulton County schools,
Correct.
in their library, part of their archive, and say, hey, this is an author that may have went to this school or lived in this same
Mhm.
community. Kids are like their eyes go so wide that we keep getting, are you famous? We're like, we wouldn't say famous, but well known because fame, people do strange things for fame or get, rich fast. I'm like, no, that is not us. We're trying to be a
Right.
household name. We have a message, we have a vision and a purpose. And so it's cool, but I think they just seeing the representation, seeing
Mhm.
somebody, wow, they wrote a book
Mhm.
and they're here reading it. This is not, like Dr. Seuss, he's great, but like he's not here reading it to us. So, this is the thing where they actually get to see somebody that looks like them in the book or somebody that can look like their mom. I think is, inspiring
Mhm.
them. And we tell them, you guys can write a book too. Don't just be us, be better than us. Come
Right.
up with something even more
Right.
creative. But we're just here to know that how I think what made me start this book is knowing that if we didn't start, there's like 5 to 10 other people that won't start because we didn't start. So knowing that it was bigger than us, that when we stepped out on faith and we did our thing, now each event, I promise you, my mom is my witness, there's at least one adult, whether it's the teacher or somebody that works in the school or wherever we're at, saying
Mhm.
that, hey, I needed to see you guys do this because I've been sitting on a book idea for
Right.
so long, having, nervousness, fears of what if, what if, what if, and seeing you guys step out and do it. Now I feel like I can do it. Can we stay in contact? I think,
Mhm.
if you guys give me some pointers or how you did it, I think it's really cool to know that now
Right.
people are coming to us for insight on how to, get their book out there. So it's pretty
Yes.
cool.
I was going to say one last point
Mhm.
that also makes the book different is that it is not fictional.
Nonfiction.
It's nonfiction,
Hmm.
and it's also a reference tool
Hmm.
about going to work because we talk
Careers.
about the court system, we talk about the paralegal,
Hmm.
the bailiff in the courtroom saying all rise. We talk about Judge Dixon, who's still on the bench in state
Yes.
court. And those people all are still alive
Right. Yeah.
and exist. They all came to the book launch. And so,
Hmm.
again, kids are thrilled with seeing the people jump off the page.
Yeah.
But this is a true story. All of our books will be true
True stories.
stories.
Yeah. With real people in it.
Real people. We ask them get permission to use their name.
Yes.
The lawyer in me says to do
Right.
that.
Let's get that.
So we thought that again kids would
Hmm.
identify with it and parents.
Yeah.
Of kind of dragging our kids to work with us out of necessity, but also
Hmm.
making sure that they know that there are a lot of good
Yeah.
careers out there to choose from.
Yeah, our book is unique. Literally, she said that in Barnes and Noble is
Mm-hmm.
so one of a kind because typically children's books are fictional. They have dragons and big things and all these
Mm-hmm.
imaginative things, but ours is not. Yes, by categories for children's ages 5 to 8, but like she said, it's nonfiction because it's all real and it's a reference book because we'll be doing different things, exposing them to things. So she said, literally, your book is one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that we didn't plan for it to be one of
Right.
a kind, but our story is one of a kind. So it definitely falls right in line with
Right.
who we are and what we done. Like my mom may have looked at it as I was just being mom. I was just doing the best. Nobody gave me a roadmap. I just took what I had and ran with it and made the best of it. So that's what we want to inspire people. It's
Right.
not about how you start, it's about how you
How you
finish.
finish.
And just, things in life happen, but learn how to pivot and just take it in stride with it.
Correct.
Well, what I'm also hearing is, Judge, you're also an inspiration to single mothers and single fathers
Right.
that are out there, and you did it. And you raised this successful, smart, talented son who
Yeah.
just really loves his mom. And that's just
Yeah.
wonderful, beautiful to see.
I did not think that I would, as they say, grow up to be an inspiration. I just wanted to have an impact. My father, my grandfather, they were in the legal field. And my great grandfather was one of the first African American policemen hired in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, where I'm from. And AJ and I both have done Black History reports in various capacities on him. And my father was an NAACP president and community activist in Louisville, Kentucky, who just passed recently. So we give kudos to those in the family. I'm a first-time graduate of college in our family. And so again, you can have an impact, make an impact, and also inspire others to know that, as I think I've said in the past, being a single parent is not a death sentence. You're not a product of, saying I'm alone and I can't do it. Just have to work a little harder sometimes, stay up a little later, and make that impact. But I hope that I do inspire single moms and dads to bond with their children more. And you don't have to have tons of money to do it. But, catalog those events, take the pictures, which people do on their phones. Those memories will come back around, and the kids will grow up and thank you for it. And, tell you, as he says, that you did a good job. And so, there's no better reward than that, to know that, you raised your kid by himself. But it is not a bad thing. It's just a different circumstance, and we kind of go a little bit left and a little bit right, but we'll end up the same destination in the end, and you can still make an impact.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been so inspirational and such a wonderful way to hear about this book and the impact that you have had and will have on everybody who gets an opportunity to crack open the book.
Yes. We appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you so much, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.